For Mr. A. Pandy, of 43 Riverside Court, Nottingham, the most serious problem his occupation poses for him is balancing on a log without the benefit of a safety net. However, his long-term friend and next-door neighbour, Ted, who, incidentally, is just entering medical school at a famous hospital, faces more serious problems.
Do you want to go on playing with the seesaw, Andy? All right, we'll leave you then. We want to go and see what Teddy's found to play with.
Ted will undoubtedly find that going to university requires greater balancing skills. Maybe learning to cope with living away from home, communal living, or facing living alone. And all of this on top of the social, financial, and academic pressures. Of course, there are plenty of stresses and equally plenty of ways of coping. Some are better than others. You only have to look around to see that there's plenty of encouragement to use alcohol and cigarettes.
I wasn't very used to drinking, and I suppose within the first 2 weeks, fresh as fortnight, I sort of got the knack of it.
How much did you drink to start with?
Before I came to medical school.
When you started, when you got the knack?
Started here. I suppose, well, when I actually started, I could only take about a pint or so at the most. Within a week, I think I could drink about 4 pints.
I think that's a bit unfair.
Why is it unfair?
Fresh as Paul to be sort of filming people drinking.
Is it not a natural habitat of the medical student?
Yeah, it is. But I mean,
what's unfair about that?
No, I mean, why are we filming it? Sort of, well, I mean.
You can choose when and how much you drink, and whether or not you smoke. There's a fine dividing line between using alcohol appropriately as a social lubricant and overstepping the mark. Establishing friendships and getting on with new people can be very stressful.
Smoking is becoming more and more socially unacceptable, whereas drinking is definitely socially acceptable, especially in here. Definitely it's acceptable.
Only in moderation. Only to some people. I mean, not everybody likes it up here.
No, but
it's
the people who come up here like to
don't
drink.
mind it. Yeah.
Yeah, and also, I mean, it's socially acceptable to drink a little bit, and then there are the lads who it's all right to get drunk, you know, and stuff.
Do you think people are aware of what those socially acceptable limits are?
No, depends who you're with. I mean, if you're sort of out with if you're sort of with the rugby people, their social limits are sort of, infinite.
Vomiting is acceptable.
Yeah.
It's very much like a peer group thing.
In fact, it's encouraged.
Encouraged.
Who can get the furthest spray? Yeah.
But some people actually don't come up here because it's the drinking aspect and puts them off.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it puts me off a bit. Every time there's a party here, I know everybody's going to get. A lot of people get drunk and drink a lot, and that puts me off.
People do have the image of beer monsters or whatever they call them, don't they? I mean,
I think a lot of people have a lot of sort of social stress, worried about getting to know people and whether they're going to be involved and that sort of thing in the first few
Makes
weeks.
drinking all the more acceptable because you're doing what everybody else is doing, so you're one of the normal people if you're up here and drinking, whereas if you're not.
I think the problem is it's just taken too far. I mean, people drink. Every party, everybody's it's just based on drinking. Half people go vomiting all over the place. And I think it's a bit sort of sad that just to have a good time, people just drink. It's like people rely on alcohol too much, And really, to have a good time, you don't have to drink a drop of alcohol whatsoever. And if you think that, if you have to use alcohol to get over your inhibitions to be shy, then you know that's a really easy way out. You should try and sort of use your inner self without using any artificial stimulants.
It could be that people drink and have a good time at the discos, and they associate alcohol with a good time. Then, if they came up and everyone spent one night without drinking and all enjoyed themselves, and maybe they wouldn't drink the next time as much.
I think the problem is like the first year. I mean, the first year, maybe a bit of the second year. Like a lot of people drink a lot. But the problem is if you don't wean off after that, that's what I think.
A lot of high years have learnt how to just occasionally go out, and I don't think
I'm sure most of us don't drink half as much as we used to.
Yeah. If you've had a hard day or something, it's quite nice to come out for a drink. You know, just makes you feel a bit more relaxed or whatever, and just chat with some people. When exams are on, I mean, if you've got to go back down and revise or whatever, you really can't afford to knock back a couple of pints or whatever.
It's still a very stressful situation. Do you think people look to other ways of coping with that stress?
Smoking.
So you do get immediately after exams, you get a massive post-exam binge.
I think a lot of people do that.
Does it change when you go on the wards as well, when you actually see the patients? I mean, some of us haven't got to the wards and seen people who've got cirrhosis or lung cancer, perhaps, when you actually get out and see people.
I don't know, do you think that makes a difference?
I don't know.
think it does bring it home a little bit to people. When you come here as well, I mean, just got out of school and everything, everyone tends to get a bit wild, and it takes you time just to sort of work it all out of your system, and then to learn how much you can drink, learn,
I think it's a natural progression.
Learning to cope with the routine pressures of student life is as important as learning about medicine.
It's a long course, it's a 5-year course. It's 5 years of potential stress. You've got to find a lot of other interests rather than just medicine, a lot of friends, a lot of things to occupy your time. There's a lot to do with the exams.
It's much more important in the beginning to get to meet everybody, get your circle of friends and everything, because if you don't do that, when the stress and things come along, then you really haven't got people to go and talk to.
I think with the friends, the most important thing, you need to have people to rely on. You need to be aware of what you're working for at the end, and just make sure you're doing enough work as you go along. I mean, people tend to know what they're capable of.
I would say try and get some other interests. I mean, it's your first time in London, there's loads of things to do. It's not sort of center yourself around medicine and medical school.
I'd say give it a chance. London's can be quite a different place for some people. Give it a chance. Don't I know people who first weekend they decide to go back home because they didn't really like it here. But you've got to give it a chance. Stay here for at least a few weeks, if you can, before you decide to bugger off home or anything. And just as everyone else says, try and get to know quite a few people, and you should be all right. You should settle in. It might be quite different, but you should be better for that experience.
Well, most people in medical school have managed to cope, and so the night before the first exam, when you really don't think you're going to get through, remember most people do, and if you don't get through, keep trying, and there are an awful lot of people to talk to. And I don't think it matters too much to start with how you do find the best way to cope. If you do have to go and have a drink, don't worry about having that drink. We've all probably done it. Just don't do anything too much to excess for too long, but keep talking to people.